You can't have a second childhood. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have a second childhood.
Yeah.
You don't learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
You gotta go through it over again. You gotta like, well, shit, well, you ain't learn the first time, I mean, let's do it over again. That's that bus coming back around.
You know, bus coming back around.
Man.
Shit, but I just thank God that the bus came back around. Sometimes that bus don't come back around for some individuals. They be 6 feet under and they don't get a second chance, you know? So I thank God that he had the grace to give me a second chance. And the bus came back around and I said, you know what? I got that goddamn $1.25. Get on this bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Getting hot out here now. It was a little cooler earlier.
Before I had 30 cents.
Yeah.
Now I got $1.50. You feel me?
You charged a little extra. I didn't get the early bird special.
You know,
I had to run back home with some more change.
You just say that shit out. Look. It was. They said, look, it was $1.25.
Yeah.
Now it's $2.50. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Promo video on my first grill, and then where did she go, bro?
So you making grills?
I'm making grills, bro. To be honest with you, I'm doing moldings, I'm doing the teeth impressions, and I'm doing the waxing. And then I get with my jeweler, and he's training me on how to do everything else. Put it in casting, burn the gold, put it in the centrifuge, spin it around.
We're gonna talk.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
welcome back to No Cap Radio. The Trillist podcast, you know. Domi Dow Jones, Eazy, no introduction needed.
And you got your boy John Richardson, aka Slayy Rich, aka what? J Rich, aka Rich. However y'all want to put it. You know what I mean? You can call me John Rich, but you know, right now today we can go by Slayy Rich.
He's slaying the cuts, he's slaying the road, now he's slaying the grills out here.
I ain't slaying no more girls though. I gotta stop on that one, right? I hate gotta stop on that one.
Well, we come today, man, to shed some light on the homie business and chop it up and you know, all the entrepreneurs out there. We, you know, that's a real big that's like a big thing right now. The entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And you know, and the main thing is people think it's cool to not work for nobody, not have to work for nobody, be on your own time, but they may not understand the sacrifices that it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like you are the business. So
I'm the business.
do you find yourself working a lot more now that, because if it's like you don't work, you don't eat, you know, so
Or sleep. At this point, when you're running your own business, anybody can hit you at any given time. I mean, I know certain individuals like to go off of business hours, but I don't. I try to keep my line of communication open as a new business owner because I'm trying to learn from my mistakes.
Right.
So I try to keep my line of communication open so that people can reach out to me.
So it's a 24/7 around the clock.
I've been having people hit me at midnight about a grill.
Yeah.
From DC, I had a person from DC hit me about a grill saying that they wanted a grill, but they wanted the grill done that night because they wanted to wear it at midnight. Man, I looked at the message and I said, I didn't even answer back. I was like, how are we gonna do that? How are we gonna do that at midnight?
Yeah.
But
that round the clock is what it takes.
That's what it takes, man.
You know,
it's funny you say that. I remember I hit you one time. This was when I was going through my own thing, trying to figure shit out, and he was like, "Bro, you gotta just grind it out.
That's
like,
it.
You can't sleep."
That's it.
And then when you said that, I was like, "Damn, that literally mean you just got." I mean, you know what I'm saying? My hand, I'm taking it literal, but I mean, when you think about it, that's what it is.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is.
And you get so accustomed to not sleeping. I don't really sleep no more. You know what I'm
I
saying?
take power naps.
Yeah.
2-3 hour naps at a time. But honestly, with the business aspect of everything, honestly, I just threw stuff at the wall until something stuck.
Mm-hmm.
When it stuck, I said, "Yeah, I got him now." You know what I mean? But back to what he was saying about working around the clock and everybody can't do this. It's not for everybody. There's workers and there's bosses. I mean, you gotta want that level up. You gotta go through it first, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I've been through a lot of things. And one thing that I always tell myself is I can't get caught up in other individual stuff. And I had to mature, and especially with me, you know, putting my face behind a business, I can't be out here doing wild and crazy stuff. Put myself in situations and hanging around the individuals that I know I'm not supposed to be around. So I just try to make the right moves, the proper moves, and, you know, navigate and maneuver around the bull crap. You know what I mean? And I've been doing a good job of it, but you can't stop the hate. The hate come with success. So if I ain't got no haters, I ain't doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just keep that in the mind.
Let's start from the beginning, bro. Like you said, you was a wild boy.
I was a wild guy, man. Honestly, if we start from the beginning, man, we had started Stafford High School, bro. I just was into a lot of crazy stuff. Got into a lot of fights and stuff when I was young, and I was on probations from 15 to, I want to say, 26. I got off probation. I think I remember I was like, I'm on probation.
Yeah.
I was living in Forest Village, but I did not listen to my parents for a lot for a couple of years when I graduated high school, and I found myself behind walls, institutionalized. I'm not institutionalized, but in an institution, and I found myself, you know, keep going through the same things in life until one day I woke up and told myself I didn't want to go through it anymore. And I had kids at the time, but sometimes that doesn't motivate you. You have to motivate yourself to want to change. You know,
Man,
I just motivated myself to change.
That's heavy right there, because it's a lot of people that are stuck in spots like that right now, and they don't know necessarily where to start. But when you say, like, it takes you to want it, because I think back, I was the same way, like wanting to do better, but not necessarily knowing how.
Right.
You know, and it's really just one foot forward, one step at a time, right? But when you think about so after you get off probation, did you have this business already in motion, or?
Honestly, I graduated early, a year early with my older brother Antoine. I graduated a year early. My dad was like, you got two options. You either going to the Army or you going to college. I chose college just because I saw the stuff that he went through. He did 23 years in the military. He's retired. Shout out to my pops. He was a good man. But I chose the college route to try to, I guess, I was just choosing college because I didn't want to go to the Army. I knew I was intelligent. I knew I had it, but I was a troubled teen, and I got into shit, and I hung around people that I knew I wasn't supposed to be hanging around. So I just chose college because I knew I could do my work and I still find time for bullshit, and that's what happened. I went to college. I found time for bullshit, and during college, I caught charges, get locked up, no bond, come home 7 months later. You know what I mean? And I'm going back to school. I get into some more drama. I get locked back up for 8 months, come home. I get locked back up on a violation, dirty urine, do a year, come home. That was the last time. Came home 2010. That was the last time I ever gave him any type of time. Because I told myself after that, I was like, I can't do this no more. At the time, my son was like, I want to say like 4 or 5 years old. And I was like, man, I got to make a change. You know, I can't keep doing the same shit. And during that, I was going to school and I was working, and I always had the entrepreneurial mind because I never would agree with my store manager wherever I was working. I would never agree with somebody that was my manager. I felt like they could be doing something better. They can improve on certain things, but they were always coming to me, telling me things that I could improve on, but then they were never around to be a manager. You know what I mean? So long story short, I just kept telling myself every time I went to work, well, I'm not gonna take it. And one day I woke up and told myself I wanted to cut hair. And I signed up for school for barbering. I went to school for cutting hair. And then the classes stopped, you know. And that's where another thing we were talking about, persistence. The school shut down. I couldn't go to school no more. So I said, F it, I'll go back to college. I went and got my associate's degree. And then the instructor up at the barber school was like, damn, he must be really serious about life. He went to go get his associate's degree. He saw me walk the stage. Shout out to my instructor, Parker. He's the one that got me licensed, but he pulled me to the side and was like, I can get you your barber license. I'm accredited, you know what I mean? I got my credentials, I can get you your hours. At first I was like, nah, he bluffing. And then long story short, 3 months went by and I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs, still working for somebody. And I was like, I gotta make a change in my life. So I called him up one day and I told him I was gonna come to his house, talk to him. I made the payment for him to, do individual studies with me. He studied up with me. I want to say like 3 or 4 months later, I went to go take my test at DPOR and passed it. Did my practical, passed that, became a barber. And then went back for extra studies, got my master barber license. Went back for some more extra studies with the same instructor and got my instructor license. And then after that, I went, I was still cutting at the time. And then the pandemic happened.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when the pandemic happened, barbering slowed up for me. So I was like, what can I do? How can I reinvent myself? Even though I have this trade of barbering, what else can I add to my life that's going to substantiate it? And that's what I did. I signed up for school for CDL school. And at the time, during the pandemic, the classes were free, which I think they still are free. You can go get your CDL for free or whatever.
What? Right now?
Yeah, right now. And,
we need truck drivers right now.
I got my CDL, and after that, I just hit the ground running. And then in between that, like when I got my barber license, this goes back to the grills. When I had got my barber license, I went through the little situation with the mother of my kids. We parted ways and stuff. I got my own apartment. I was spending big stacks. I had got some money back or whatever, and I was looking for a grill place to go get my first grill. So I did some research, went to go get a grill done, and then after I got the grill done, I just peeped the guy's setup, and I was like, he's a very good entrepreneur individual. So I just started asking him questions, and that's what sparked my mind to do grills, because I'm from down south. I'm on the grill shit, so.
That's the thing, though. When I seen you was doing the grill,
yeah.
initially I was like, damn, we was wearing grills? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. I ain't
word.
That's what I was like.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But you always was into something.
Word. I was always into something.
Work.
I gotta keep my hands into something. I got to. That's how you keep the revenue going.
Yeah.
But, just staying up to date with the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Staying up to date with that, and then, just putting my own spin and marketing spin on it. I could sell anything I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I just chose grills, which, here near in the future, I might start another business if an idea hits my mind. But, I just study the greats, honestly. I watch a lot of Dame Dash interviews, a lot of Jay-Z interviews, and I just watch a lot of African-American male motivational interviews, and it just, I guess, sparked my mind to want to be different and not be with the crowd of individuals, and just be with the 10 or 15% of individuals that think differently. And that's where I try to place myself, because I'm not a regular individual. I'm kind of like an introvert. Like, sometimes I can't go to the club by myself, because I feel like, why am I going to the club by myself? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got nobody to talk to. Like, I'm very shy, honestly. I'm very, very shy. If I get in a big room, building full of individuals, I gotta go.
Word.
Hell yeah, that's just how I am. I've been that way for a long time, and that was the way I became a comedian, because it was a way to get the anxiousness and the butterflies out of my stomach by making people laugh, and to get the spotlight off of myself. That's how I became a comedian. So I was a class clown, you know what I mean? Like, so it just came natural. Like,
that's funny though. You would think you draw
very
attention to
self-conscious.
yourself, though, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you do that.
Right.
It's funny as hell.
It took the pressure off myself, honestly.
Yeah.
Just, it loosened me up,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying? It took the butterflies away, and I wasn't anxious, because if you ask anybody, I'm like, when I get around a lot of people, I get very awkward. And it's just like a feeling that I get, you know, that I can't really speak on, but it's just, I'm a different individual and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I don't hide it. I'm cool with that. I'm not regular. I'm not regular, so I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And I try to preach that to my kids, like, just be yourself. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what other individuals have to say. You know, you got to live your life. You can't really worry about what people say.
And that's tough. In these, you know, days and times where everything for the kids is about expectation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They expected to, we talk about it, expected
Right.
to look away, talk away, dress away, you know what I'm saying?
Be likable.
Right. And that puts so much pressure on our youth, man. But you said something about your counselor. He got you your license for the barber.
My instructor.
Yeah, your instructor. So you stayed persistent, man. He saw that. So us, you know, we got the same thing in common. We all God-fearing men.
Right.
We black fathers. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my father. You know what I'm saying? I know you have yours, but y'all got your fathers around. Who did you go to? Did you have anybody to fall back on through this whole thing?
Like going through my whole situation?
Yeah, like who was your who did you lean on the most?
The support system.
Yeah.
Me.
Okay. I kind of figured you would say that.
Because I was spoiled growing up. My dad was military, so I got everything I wanted. My mom was a nurse. She did it very well, and around the areas where we live, she got paid, sometimes paid more than my dad. You know what I mean? And I was spoiled. I took my parents through a lot of bull crap. Lawyer fees, everything. From 15 to 26, lawyer fees. Spoiled, honestly. When I came home 2010, they wanted me to come home. I went home to the mother of my kids. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't want to lean on my parents anymore. You know what I mean? And after that, I very seldomly got help from my parents. They wanted me to figure it out myself. And I respect them for that because it made me who I am today. I don't think I would have did any of the ventures or made the extra steps to be the entrepreneurial person that I am now, because I would have continued to let my parents be an enabler. You know, I know they loved me, but they gave me the tough love that I needed. Right? I think when I turned 18, I didn't get no more lawyer fees. It was just public defenders, and I didn't know exactly what I was dealing with because the charges that I was being hit with, felonies and shit. It really wasn't supposed to be a felony. And that's another topic. I feel like, you know, the court system is modern day slavery for black men. You know, I got a brother right now he did 10 years on an armed robbery, they didn't even find the gun. You know, and they just went off of, you know, they played off of the defendants. You know how they get y'all in different rooms and they want to talk, and then somebody open their mouth when they're not supposed to, and then, you know, that's how people get convicted. But at the same time, how do you convict a man and give a man 15 years with no gun? No really evidence. The taxi driver didn't really see anybody's face or none of that stuff. There was no gun. How you give somebody 15 years? And then when I went to my brother's court date, my mom had already spent like $5,000 on his lawyer. This is in the state of Georgia, and I'm 15 years old, seeing my brother get 15 years. You would have thought that would have changed my life, but it didn't. I had to go through things myself and learn it myself because I didn't want to listen. You know what I mean? And to go back to my brother being sentenced, I saw on that date, I still saw with my own eyes, I seen 20 to 25 black men get football numbers. And I seen Caucasian men come in there and they were getting probation without incarceration for the same charges. You get what I'm saying? They're getting probation with no incarceration. They're getting time served. They're getting a year or two in jail. And then they're just railroading our black men. They're just, you know, giving them football numbers, 45. I seen when I went to court, my brother came out, he was smiling, he thought he wasn't gonna get no time. He's like, yeah, what's up? 15, bah! You gotta serve 10, come on, 5 parole. You know, my brother locked up right now. He's just, at this point, he's institutionalized, you know what I'm saying? So he did 10, came home, he did another 5, came home. Now he locked up, he ain't coming home in 2027. You know what I'm saying? It's just like situations when you hear shit like that, it's like, now that I'm older and mature, and I look at it, I'll be like, can't be me. You know what I'm saying? But it could have been me. It could have been me. You know? I just thank God that he shed his grace on me, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, I just used, examples like that because, you don't want to go out here and put yourself in a situation that you can't get yourself out of. By the grace of God, I could be locked up right now for 30, 35 years for the stupid stuff that I was doing and not knowing, thinking I was chilling with my homeboys, thinking that we was having a good time. You know what I mean? And it's the idle mind that kills the black man. If you're not doing something that's substantiating your life or something positive that's going to add towards your portfolio in life, you are doing the wrong thing. And that's what I try to, preach to these young black men out here, man, especially my son, You got to be very mindful of the situations you put yourself in. And you got to be able to maneuver around the bullshit. Because there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to see you be something in life. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to, you got to not locate them, you got to be able to radar them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, boop, you're not for me. You're not for me. And, in situations where you're dealing with a lot of peer pressure, it breaks a child down. It makes them feel like they have to make a decision that they don't really want to make to be able to fit in or to be able to, So I just try to, preach that to the youth right now, honestly. I'm not saying that I'm the best role model, but I'm the most down-to-earth individual that you'll meet. Because I'll keep it 100 with you. I ain't going to hide nothing from you. I keep it straight up.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard, man. It's like, I got a son, of course, the same age.
Yep.
Our son's the same age, man. It's feel like you talk to them, of course, till you blue in the face, man, but they the ones that have to go and deal with that situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They got to think on their own. So it's like you try to push it in their head, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, you
got to make the right decision on your own. You can't be there every day because if I'm there every day, I can't make a table for you. I can't provide no food to the table for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if I'm not there, then I'm not disciplining you. So as a father, I just try to find the balance. I know I can't be there all the time, but as long as you know that the eyes on your ass, you better not make the wrong move, brother. You know what I'm saying? So
somebody always watching.
Right. And if I can't get you to your Monday, best believe I'm gonna put my foot in your ass Wednesday. You feel me? So I just try to keep that in mind. There's a lot of crazy shit going on nowadays, but I love being a father. That's one of the motivations. I feel like that was one of the reasons why, even though I can say and be honest and say that my kids didn't motivate me, because if they did, then when my son was born, I wouldn't have keep getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it on it. But we can't judge when God turns the light on for us. But when he turns the light on, you gotta keep that light on, because when you turn it on, you didn't take it away. So that was how it happened for me. The light came on, even though we're still human, we're gonna make mistakes. We're not perfect, but I try to, walk a straight path every day. I wake up, I try to be mindful of other individuals' feelings, and I try to be the best person. And I try to be the best person that I know that I'm going to be able to look in the mirror and see myself and say, I'm cool with what I see. So I just try to aim towards that. I don't really be trying to aim towards how other individuals see me or how they perceive me. Everybody has their own opinion on life.
I can tell you an open book.
I'm an open book, bro. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, A lot of individuals that are close to me, they know how to get to me. And, when the button's pushed, it's pushed. You know what I mean? But at that point, you knew what you was doing. So you know how I am, and you already know. The button's pushed.
This the easiest interview, man. You ain't gotta ask no questions.
Yeah.
Right. Push the button and he goes. You know what I'm saying?
Word, man.
It's on autopilot, man.
Autopilot, man.
Good dude right here, man. I'm just thinking about back when Ford's Village days.
Ford's Village days was crazy.
We was at Walmart. You was about to cook that night.
Everybody, right? You talking about what I did? Oh man, I dropped the stack.
You had a stack in your pocket.
Drop the stack.
Drop that joint and man, it's hot.
Hot. Bro, you was one of the first persons that saw me, bro. I can't, man, what?
Man, we went out there together. We went to Walmart together.
But you weren't there for the ride home.
Man.
You weren't there for the ride home. The ride home, I was, yo, the whole stuff was gone. I was like, yo, we ain't about to do nothing.
Yeah.
Yo,
They to the crib.
look, the re-up money gone. Look, the re-up money gone. That's when I was still in the streets. I was like, yo, that's the re-up money. It's gone. It's gone.
And this dude ended up going to somebody
Somebody,
turned it in for you.
a dude named Jason. I forgot his last name, man. It's hard to say, but dude named Jason found my money and gave it back to Walmart, and it was hundreds. It was hundreds in an envelope. He gave it right back to Walmart, and we happened to go back.
It was like the next day, y'all went.
No, it wasn't the next. It was the same day. I think they called my phone and was like, "We found your envelope. A guy gave it back." I was like, "Ain't that some shit?" And you know, the crazy thing about that story is, I feel like that changed my perception on things because you know how many wallets I've found since that situation happened. I just felt like it was
Your turn to return.
not only the return. It was God saying, "Okay,
How you going?
how you gonna act, bro? How you gonna act, G?
Yeah.
This wallet got over $1,800 in it. How you gonna act? You gonna give it back?"
Stomach growl.
Stomach growl. Look, I didn't even have an apartment at that time. I was living in the back of somebody's shack, working at Sheets as a supervisor, bro. Getting paid $13.50 an hour, bro. Still trying to make myself known as a barber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I gave that wallet back, bro. I said, whatever this wallet comes with, I don't want it. You can keep that one, bro. Right. This thing might have a GPS system. I forgot. Nigga, what you mean? This your hell no.
The funny thing, man, about
I was happy to give it back too. I was like, 7-Eleven?
Right.
I found this in your parking lot. Get this back to the rightful owner. His name is. Crazy thing about it is I wound up cutting his hair.
Oh yeah.
He's my client now.
What?
Yeah, dude named Patrick, bro. Dude named Patrick. I cut his hair now. I think at the time he said he was going to, and it was before I started cutting that pro style. And he was like, "Yeah, I go to pro style and get my hair cut." And I was like, "Yeah, I used to work there with my homeboy Darius at the Fridays." And I stopped working there, and then I guess that was a way of God telling me to go back to pro styling because I was like, I'm tired of working overnight at Sheets as a supervisor. Because every time I would come home, or every time it was time for me to go home at 6 o'clock in the morning, I had a store manager. I forgot her name, but she would come in at like 6:30, 6:45, man, and she would never let me leave early. And this is the time where I was working overnight as a supervisor, and then I would get up. I would get off, get home like around 7:30 in the morning, take a power nap, like 4-hour nap, get up at 11:30, walk, because I didn't have a car, walk to the barbershop where I work. My job at Sheets was like right in front, like Hillendale, and I lived right behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a 2-3 minute walk.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was worried about. The walk to the barbershop was like a 2 or 3 mile walk. And we talk about this, like, we talking through like all the seasons. When it's cold and they get hot. And I'm living in the back of a shack where I have one of those heat warmer joints where I'm living in basically like a garage. Like honestly, I was living in a garage and I was heating it up in a garage. That's how I lived. I was living like a Viking, bro. And I was like, I don't know where my life is headed. But the thing about it is I stayed persistent. I always kept a positive mind through everything. I feel like the laughter, me watching, the things that I love to watch, me being an artist, you know what I mean? Me having the friends and family around me, it kept me grounded to know that that season was not going to stay forever. It was just something that I had to go through in order for me to get to the next level. And I can fret in it, or I can make the best out of it. Even though I didn't have my kids around me like I was supposed to, on the weekends I still paid for rental cars to go see my kids and take them to the movies. And then on Wednesday nights, nobody knew about it, but I was in my bed crying because I wanted to see them. And I wanted to do more for them. And that's why I feel like I evolved into the person I am today. And I'm still evolving into the person I need that God wants me to be every day. But, I feel like you know, those type of stories and, you know, those type of events that I went through made me who I am today. And I wouldn't be as strong as I am today if I didn't go through what I went through. Because I feel like if I didn't go through what I went through, I'd just be like, okay, I can get it at any time.
Right, right. And see, the thing is, we try to teach this positivity to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, no matter how positive you are, you still gonna have to go through the season.
Absolutely.
It don't matter if you could be probably the most positive person in the world, you still gonna have these roadblocks. The thing is, God gonna keep these roadblocks in front of you until you're ready.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he moves it too soon, then you're gonna think it's too easy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Or it may not be in his, it may not be lined up with what he has.
Right.
Something else may happen to where it stops you from being what you need to be. So that's the whole point of being in perfect timing. Even if it's a mistake, I feel like it's a perfect mistake because it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It was already ordained to happen. It was already in the books to happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like every mistake I've ever made, it was for a reason.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at the losses I took. I didn't look at them as losses. I looked at them as a learning tool or mechanism, because I try to learn things and I try not to continuously go through the same thing. And I felt myself, you know, at a time in my life when I was in my early 20s, going into my mid 20s, I found myself in a situation where I continued to go through the same things in life, and I didn't understand why until I removed myself from the people that I wasn't supposed to be around. And then my life started to flourish. My life started to, you know, it went on an incline. That's all it took was for me to get in a quiet place by myself with nobody else and make time to be able to bring in the information that he was. I feel like he puts you in a place, a silent place by yourself for a reason. He's trying to talk to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't open up and try to receive what he's trying to give you, you may miss your bus. You might miss your ride. That don't mean it ain't gonna come back around the corner.
Right.
You miss your ride. So you ain't on time. You might not be on time. You gonna get there, but you might not be on time. You know what I mean? But that bus still come back around. I feel like if you don't get it the first time, that doesn't mean. It's like, you know, the patience that we have to have for our kids. They might not get it the first time. But when that bus come back around and they come, we're going to try this again. Come back up the bat. Hit now. Get on first base. And that's how I feel like life is. We get it wrong so many times to where when we do get it right, we be like, that's what he was trying to do. You know what I mean? And that goes back to the things that my father tried to tell me as a young man. Don't get yourself in those type of situations. Don't put yourself in that type of situation. This is what's going to happen. I had to find out for myself. You know what I mean? I had to find out for myself.
And they see you understand that when you have kids.
Absolutely. Now I call him like, Dad, stay on the phone with me for like, he's like, nah. And I understand it because he doesn't want to get, it's like he's preparing me for when he's not here. And my mom does the same thing. It's tough love. And sometimes I kind of resent it, but at the same time, it's like I understand it after, you know, sitting down and reevaluating the situation. Like, okay, well, maybe I'm looking at it at the wrong point of view. Maybe I need to look at it from their point of view. Maybe they're trying to get me ready for something, not always trying to look at things pessimistic.
See, you grown now, you understand.
Absolutely, I understand.
My kids
it.
don't understand that. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
they don't.
So then you look at when I tell my son something and he don't listen, I gotta understand I'm the same way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's like, then I can't be too mad at him because I did the same thing. I was
Same
his
thing,
age.
right.
I had the same mindset. But it's kind of scary too because it's like, he got learning on his own. What's going to happen to him for him to learn? You know what I'm saying?
How hard is that lesson?
Exactly.
Maybe it may need for me to continue to say, son, if you want to hit that combo on Tekken, hit the square, triangle, and X. Right. Until that nigga hit square, triangle, and X. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with life, you know, my dad didn't give up on me, you know? Yeah. Why am I going to give up on him? And then in your situation, you don't have one. Mm-hmm. So why do you not want to be around yours? You know what I mean? You got to start looking at it from your perspective, like positively. Okay, that happened. I don't want that to happen. And then in my situations, there were situations where my parents could have did better. And I'm like, okay, y'all, they could have. They did what they did and with what they had and what they knew. You know what I mean? Because for generations, we've been, not saying cursed, but we've been set back because of, we know what, slavery and all that good stuff, And we still trying to come out of that. Most of us, percentage of black people, we still trying to make it out of holes that they've put us in for generations. We still trying to come up out of that. And then the other 15%, they figured it out. And then we still got the other 85% trying to figure it out. And that's just how that shit go, man.
Man, look, I gotta get this out, bro. Cause it's a funny ass story. I ain't finished with the stats and the man came back to. When we found out, yeah, you already know where I'm going.
Yo!
He got a call. We downstairs. Who was he doing? He's probably on the game like usual on the game.
We was on the game. It had to be 2K. It had to be 2K.
My man got a call. Who was it? Fox was coming back.
ABC. It was ABC. First, they were like, hello, this is Kelly with ABC. Richmond. We wanted to come down and we wanted to talk to you. I said, we got one.
Yeah.
Look, we went to Crestview. Leo was that's another reason why I became, all this stuff's coming together.
Yeah.
I saw how Leo used to do it and work from home, and he took care of his. I actually looked up, and besides my father, there was older black men around us that we did learn from. So we went up the street to Crestview to Leo's spot, and we told him ABC was coming. He said, "What?" Yeah. He said, "Can I bring?" Leo is a barber.
Coming where?
To Forest Village.
To Forest Village to film me.
No way, which y'all talking about.
So this one, the dude, he lost his stat.
I lost $1,000 at Walmart.
Okay.
And they gave me the money back. And I guess somehow the news channels started figuring out. Maybe no. Actually, I think they reached out to me.
They reached out
to me. ABC covered this story.
ABC already talked to the dude.
Yeah, they talked to the guy. They talked to the guy and had him on the news. And then they called me. They figured, I guess, I don't know how they got to me. I don't remember the whole story. But I lost my money at Walmart. And maybe Walmart may have gave him my information or something. And then I just got a random call from ABC. It was like, hey, this is Kelly from ABC. We want to come out and interview you. Man, I thought I was a goddamn superstar.
Well, look, we brought Leo. Leo came from Crestview.
And brought his
chair and everything.
And the logo on it and everything. He said, I'm going to make sure they see all of this shit. Pow! He said, go ahead, put this motherfucker on. Look, he said my cut was free. He was like, yo, yeah, I'm going to give you this cut for free. Because when you get on here, you better shout out Leo Cuts. You about to be on the news. So we went down there.
He wanted to do his interview while he was getting the cut.
Yeah! I told him, nigga, I thought I was Jay-Z. I'm like, yeah, listen, if you want this interview, nigga, you got to give me while I get my cut. They paused that real quick. We was in there getting ready for that motherfucker until I think you had got a shape up and everything. So you like, give me a shape up.
The news come out, ran upstairs with the polo and Tim's on, the chain on. Okay, we gonna be on this, right?
Bro, I had to be like 23 or 24 at the time, bro.
He told the guy, he's like, yeah, the white dude came to the
word.
He's like, yeah, we want to interview y'all. He's like, yeah, you can just, come in here. I'm gonna be getting the cut.
He said, come on, let's come here for a second. Come here. He saw them niggas in there. He was like, yeah, I ain't coming in here, nigga. Hey, we was in Forest Village. He saw the niggas. I ain't coming in here. I said, wait, I got this camera and everything. I need to get some sunlight. There's no way to do it outside in the front, right? Around the grass. I just want to get the leaves and I was like, nigga, you just don't want to come in here. Yeah. So we eventually did it outside, and then after that, after ABC took it, Fox called me. Yeah. So you remember the dude? I forgot his name, man. It's a Hispanic brother, but he does Fox 5. He called me, and then I got the kids ready, put them in the little Malibu. You remember the silver Malibu I had? And then we went to McDonald's in Woodbridge, and we had shot the joint where, where the kids like, give me money, we needed that money. You remember when Quincy said, we needed that money. I said, I needed that stack back.
So Fox interviewed you too.
Fox 5 interviewed me, and it was on the news.
So what do y'all think, man, is like the reasoning behind them wanting two major networking companies wanting to interview this story out of all that's happening?
I think, and this is just the idea I came up with. I think in certain instances, they don't have a lot of, they have spaces in between where they need to fill in news. So they just look for local coverage.
Okay.
So they giving you up-to-date stuff. So they just finding random stuff and then they putting it together. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
That's all that was. So we're gonna give you the news. We're gonna give it's supposed to rain today, all that, and then we're gonna go into, you know, if somebody had got stabbed and murdered, and then we're gonna go into dude found money in the parking lot.
Just showing them there's some honest people out here.
Understand, yep. And then putting that story out there, you know, it may spark another honest person to, you know, it may spark another honest person to come forward and give $1,000 back in cash, all hundreds.
Man, but the thing about your story, man, and of all you ran down to us, I think like you say, it's important, like on them down times, to continue to be yourself. Like you have a huge sense of humor, personality, you know, just open, transparent, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And I think that's something that, you know, people can take away from an episode like this. You know, my man got his businesses. He came from, you know, locked up. He got children.
And I came from a good family. I'm gonna put that out there. I came from a good family.
You
had
know,
my back. They was there for me.
Yeah,
and I still found myself in trouble.
right. But see, all of that's the lesson here. All of that has shaped you and molded you to not just who you are today, but who you are going to become, you know, in the future. And I think just being true to yourself. You know how when you go to like certain rooms, right? You could be in a room with you know, big wigs, and you could be in a room with just regular. Everybody's equal, but you know what I'm saying, like different statuses and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. But or when people have to speak, like you got speaking engagements, stuff like that, and you know you may get nervous before big stuff like that, big events that hold a lot of weight, and you sit there and you contemplate, well, why am I so nervous? And I think the number one reason is the fear of judgment, right? How you're going to be perceived. And I think just being 100% true to yourself and honest with yourself, and just being you at all times, people will see the real you that way.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's like a good takeaway from an episode like this, because you're living proof of where you could be and where you could end up. You know, that A to B. And we kicked it off and said a lot of people don't know where to start. Putting the first foot forward, you know, and that's it, right?
Right.
You know, and just being honest to your character, and I guess just wanting it within.
Right.
And paying attention to the signs that are presented to you, having time alone to sit and think. You know, but when you said your support system was you, like
a lot of nights of crying.
Yeah.
A lot of nights of saying why. You know, and sometimes I knew the answer to it, but it was just more like, why do I have to still go through this? I knew the end result. I knew the end result was going to be positivity and me being somebody.
Right.
But I was like, why do I have to go through this to be? You know what I mean?
Who you supposed to be?
Who am I supposed to be? And honestly, it shaped me into the person that I am today, and it made me non-judgmental. It made me more patient with individuals, and it actually made me more conscious. Like, I think about things more before I just act. Like when I was younger, I would just act. Now that I'm older, I try to think about the mistake I'm going to make before I make it. You know what I mean? Like, why am I doing this right now? And I feel like, and this goes for the teenagers, don't make the mistake if you already thinking about making it. If you got to think about making a mistake, that means you don't need to make it. That's a mistake you don't even need to make if you're thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And just be yourself, I had a brother that used to get bullied all the time, and I used to stand up for him. And one thing I can honestly say, my brother never tried to be something he wasn't. He'd talk shit. He'd run from you. But as long as he knew he was a good shit talker and a good runner, that's what he was gonna be. You get what I'm saying? You gotta know who you are and be good at that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be good at what you know you're good at. And don't try to be good at something that you know you're not good at. Be real with yourself. You know what I mean? You can do anything you put your mind to, but you gotta be able to put the work in first. Everybody that's who they are, like a Michael Jordan, he put the work in, man. And he was persistent. He didn't make a team.
Yeah, the thing is, the greatest superpower is to be yourself.
Absolutely.
Ain't nobody like you.
Nobody's like me.
If we was all the same, this world wouldn't be what it is today. We all thought the same.
It's the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
People not accepting who you are.
Right.
And the fear of the unknown.
The unknown.
You don't know what's going to happen. If I get on this stage, man, they could boo me.
Yeah.
Somebody may run up on this bitch and try to hit me or something.
That's it.
You just thinking about all the things negatively that could happen. You know what I mean? And then that's just something that you just gotta overcome mentally, and just continue to train your thought pattern, your thought process.
Man, I saw a meme last night. It said self-doubt has killed more dreams than failure.
Boom.
And that's literally like believing in yourself and the courage to be yourself no matter what room you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That fear has ruined more dreams than failing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you think about it, how else do you fail? Except
if you accept it.
Yeah, accepting that doubt and fear and all that and letting it internalize, and then you just don't even try no more.
Mm-hmm.
That how else do you really fail?
Certain people, they're meet with brute force and they give up. They go through the first process and they're so happy-go-lucky, but then when they meet that one course that knocks them on their ass, they're ready to give up. That's the most percentage of America. They make a decision to do something, they do it,
man. So this is,
but they're not persistent and consistent.
This is a crucial point, because I think about entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
The grill for the culture rebirth for the children.
Mm-hmm.
The music, you know what I mean? These are all things that we are passionate about.
Right.
And when you say you're going to hit roadblocks 24/7, if you're not passionate in the business or that you're pursuing as an entrepreneur, you're not going to stay devoted or dedicated enough to get back up when them setbacks come. Because they're going to come.
They're going to.
But it got to be something worth the sacrifice of your time, money, energy, resources, the stress and of going through all them setbacks to still do it.
Right.
And that's the main piece.
That's the separation.
That's why I say, man, I don't want to get in no business ventures, even if it make good money, if my name ain't on it, because I'm not willing to put forth that dedication to it and see it through if I'm not passionate about it.
Right.
I would do exactly what you said, the majority of the percentage. It's one setback, or it's too much to recover.
But there's another realm. There's another percentage of people that are okay with being a worker. They clock in and they give 65%, and they're cool with that for the rest of their life. And
I had to learn that because I recently
met
a person that said, and I don't think that way, so
they
I
clock
can
in.
understand.
They mummified. They clock in. They're mummified. They get their coffee. They're on a routine, and they're okay with that routine. So, I'm the type of person I break routines. like doing the same thing. I work for somebody and I have to be on the same course of revenue or course of action. I quit, because I get bored quick.
Hey, I know you said you listen to a lot of, you study the greats and Jay. Do you remember when Jay said the goal is never to get successful, but to share your gift with the world?
Absolutely.
That interview?
I've heard it before, but I don't absolutely remember that whole
Well, he
interview.
said that, and it made me think, like, everybody's gift ain't to be
Somebody's
super rich, and you know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
You're right. You're right.
People can be good at what they do and appreciate it and not be, you know, mega stardom and rich and all that. Everybody can't be that. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and everybody is equal, but if you're thinking about just sharing your gift and contributing that to the world, it really shouldn't be about the money and fame, and you know what I'm saying? It's really just getting out your gift
And changing generational curses.
Oh yeah.
Because, okay, this goes back to a conversation I was having with my mother on the phone. Well, do you have a good job? Does it pay a 401k plan? Do you have benefits? I'm like, I am the benefit. I am the 401k plan. I'm just trying to change the mind. Like the Pac interview. He said, I might not touch everybody, but I'm just trying to turn the light on for at least one person. And I just feel like I happen to be that one person that I feel like if I continue to grind hard and work on my businesses, one day I won't have to work. And that's just my personal goal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Means to an end. It's just
Right.
means to an end.
And maybe I may spark or flip the light on for the next teenager that may see this interview or may take something from this interview. It may make the next boss.
Yeah.
It may make the next entrepreneur person. You know, because I've been touched by by the Kanye Wests and the Jay-Z's and the African American individuals that we look up to. But that doesn't mean I want to be exactly like them. I don't care for the fame. I don't care for the money. I care about changing my kids' lives and changing my family's lives. That's what I think about when I talk about change your heart cuts and Slayy Rich girls. I'm thinking about generational wealth. And I'm just trying to break that cycle of you need to go get a job and you need a 401k plan. No, you are the 401k plan. People don't understand that.
But that raises a whole nother question that's up your alley. If say, creating this generational wealth, right? And from how low we started. And then we first generation, right? We the first ones to really see some money. How is that going to affect our children, right? When they never really had to go from rags to rich,
Right.
Is that just an unanswered question? They don't have the same grit to get it.
See, like my man said, he had a family. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you had a support system. He came up with a support system. It's all on your thought process.
Thought process, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when he said that, it kind of made me think. I was like, dang, we all been through something. You know what I mean? But it's
we
all
had to get through it by ourselves.
Yeah, and it's all on how you think and what you want in life. At the end of the day, the thing that's so hard with the youth today is they're so stuck up in the screen. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want because, you know what though? They know what they want because they seeing what everybody else got in that screen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They seeing everybody got like 6 cars and all these things. But at the same time, they still in that screen. So how you gonna get 6 cars and a big ass house? You know
but you still look like the nigga that got it.
So where's that motivation gonna come from? I think that's what you know what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy, bro. Man, it's this author named Earl Nightingale. He's from like the 70s. And bro, I swear I listened to one of his I guess podcasts or interviews today where he talked about exactly that. About how this guy, you know, he just went his whole life just following what the crowd did. From high school, went to school or whatever, came back, whatever his friend, met a friend from high school, whatever the friends from high school worked at, he went and worked there, did that, came home, got married, and came home, said, I'm tired, do the same thing his father did, and that's his life for 40 years. And they said, man, what he said is if you go against doing what the majority of the crowd do, you'll never make another mistake in your life again. Because you know what that's doing?
That makes sense.
You're being your own leader.
Absolutely.
You're not just following the rest of the followers.
Right.
And that's what the dude would do. Come home and watch TV of watching everybody who's pursuing their dreams and goals, you know what I mean, that's making decent income, and here he is just watching them. You know what I mean? It's the same cycle, repeating, right? And you're right. It does boil down to your thought process. I'm gonna be courageous enough to do what I want to do, and it boils down to being yourself,
right,
and following your own desires and identifying them and going for them. Man, when I did music, nobody was doing music.
Right.
And everybody thought it was far. Even me, I thought it was far-fetched. You can't do that living here. I didn't even, for real, when I was young, I didn't even know if they were real people. You know what I mean? Like,
Word.
I didn't know. I was a kid doing music, man. I didn't.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Tupac was a myth to me. This is 96.
Word.
Like, even when he was alive, he was still like a myth.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, the way he spoke, man, it was just like he was before his time.
When you think about it, you're a myth, bro.
It's like, damn, you real? Or you
right.
He's still here.
Yeah.
He's the biggest myth when you think about it.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the biggest myth, bro. But also, to speak on Pop, I feel like most of the stuff that he spoke about came to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Death
around the corner. And,
but that's what makes you wonder even more.
Right.
My son asked about him the other day and was like, you know what I'm saying? When he died, like, is Tupac dead or whatever? And I'm like, he asked me something, and I was like, well, it's crazy because he talked about it so much in his music. That's what made you wonder. Because like you said, that's around the corner.
Is that what make you wonder, or is that what made it happen? So many people. You know,
I think it was the decisions too. It was the decisions too.
You can't speak that, man. There's so much power in the tongue, dog.
It is. Nas was very positive throughout the beefs and all that stuff, though. You know, with the West Coast and stuff. Nas was always positive. He could have heard Snoop. Snoop came to New York. He could have heard him. He was like, you know what? I love you, brother. Like, he met all of them with love. You know what I mean? And honestly, Nas was one of my favorite artists growing up. Nas just spoke a lot of knowledge. You know, he spoke about a lot of things that, you know, our ancestors came from. He talked about a lot of knowledge and things that we gained from the motherland. And I always appreciated that with Nas. You know, just one of my favorite albums from Nas was Still Matter. That was a masterpiece, you know what I mean? Because not only did he, you know, claim the throne of being one of the best MCs and won a great battle, rap beef with Nas, with Jay-Z, I feel like with Ether, he just, you know, he talked about brotherhood. He talked about a man that was caught in his second childhood. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was a lot, a lot of people do that. He talked about a track, he rapped it from the beginning to the end, or end to the beginning. He rapped it backwards, bro. Don't nobody
do that. Ain't can't nobody else do that shit, man.
Rewind, yo. That was one of my favorite tracks.
Can't nobody else in the rap game right now do that shit. I mean, if you were to pick an artist that could do that, I don't think they would be able to portray it the way that Nas did it. It was just like his tracks was more, it was like, okay, the melody got you, but it was more like a story and you learned something from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Nas really actually put you on knowledge. And I appreciate that guy for that because, you know, he was one of my rap artists that actually like, I feel like had something to do with my upbringing, becoming the man that I am today. Like when I listen to Second Childhood, I'm like, damn, I don't want to be that nigga that's 32 caught in his second childhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it put a lot of thought in my mind, and it made me, you know, become the person that I am today. Just listening to his raps.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was a beast, man.
We definitely, man, here No Cap Radio, man. We support business, and we support black business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow. So tell the people, man, you want to get a cut, man. Where can they find you?
Man, honestly, they can find me on Booksy. If you download the app Booksy, I'm on there. It's Change Your Heart Cuts. If you're looking for the zip code, it's 22172. I'm in Triangle. If you ever need a grill, you know, I got my website. It's www.slayrichgrills.com. That's SlayYYRichGrillz.com. And then I got my Instagram. It's Slayy Rich _ grills. And the same spelling for that as well. And you can go on there and click on the link at the in the bio, and it'll take you to my website.
We're gonna shop with you, man.
Yeah, you gotta shop with me, man.
Show us your grill. I'm gonna get grilled out.
This 14K. This 14K. It came from the same plug. This is the guy that put me on, man. His name's Dayani. He's a hard to find guy, man. That's my jeweler, and I've been rocking with him for the past year and a half. So that's how long it took me to get to 10 clients.
Mm-hmm.
It took a year and a half to get to 10 clients. So if you try to start your own business and you're not persistent, you won't see any back end if you don't put any type of promotion or anything behind you. It's just more of, you know, continuously doing the work and getting to the next level.
And
Brand yourself.
And we're gonna bring another guest on
Brand
that
yourself.
can help y'all with that. You know, that's gonna be a future episode. But we appreciate you coming, man. Go ahead and close them out, Eazy.
Yeah, man, we appreciate y'all coming. We hope y'all learned something for yourself, something to share with your kids. If anything else, man, just stay persistent in your business, in your ventures, or in your 9 to 5, man. Whatever you happy with, whatever you comfortable with, just keep on grinding.
Yeah. That's it.
We out, y'all. No cap.